Hello and good afternoon, Xbox Nation. Welcome to this week's new episode of X Vlog Live. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have a lot of fun today. A little slander to open up the show with Port Begging 101, what not to do to be a good community member. We're going to get into that momentarily. And of course, folks, listen, I'm sorry. Like, I think I'm smart enough to read the room. When you keep seeing and listening and watching the conversations between Sarah Bond and Sega and Phil Spencer and Sega, it just seems like a match made in heaven. I mean, for crying out loud, at the Game Awards, they dropped a trailer with all of their new old IPs coming back in big ways. And you know what's interesting? The two actors that were in that commercial could have been holding a Switch. They could have been holding Switch controllers. They could have been holding PlayStation 5 controllers. Guess what? They weren't holding either of those controllers. They were holding Xbox controllers. So we're going to take a timeline run to some of the things that were said when the big announcement for the super games between Microsoft and of course Sega were announced. And from there, we're gonna lay out the evidence for you why today's tweet, as in simplistic in as it was in nature, from Sarah Bond, congratulating the new COO of Sega, both for America and the European market. I think that there's something building here. Now, I don't think there's an acquisition personally. I think the way that this can get done where there's no regulatory shenanigans, and of course, this comes the way of Mr. Sega himself, Everborn Saga, they could, and I mean Microsoft could logistically heavily invest into the company, taking somewhat of a controlling aspect. Like, let's say, for instance, Sega holds 51%. Microsoft could own 49% or invest into Sega, giving them a controlling or a seat at the table of what they do. All I'm saying is that there is a lot of evidence that there is going to be a huge partnership. And some of the things that were said by the same gentleman about how he really appreciates how well Microsoft respects Sega, unlike the other platforms, that tells me that there might be some bad blood with Nintendo, with PlayStation, but everything seems to be unicorns and rainbows when talking about Xbox. But before we get to any of that, we got to welcome in the Pony Smasher himself, folks, aka one half of the dynamic duo known as On Point Gaming. What's going on, brother? How you feeling? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, brother. Thank you so much for having me. I don't know. I don't think I have that title anymore. I think that's Doodle. I think Doodle's like the pony smasher. I'm like the enforcer. Like I'm the backup dude. You know what I'm saying? Just in case
Okay,
anybody gets
okay.
loose.
I like it. I
But
like it.
I think she has that title now. But nah, man, I appreciate you having me. I'm excited. This is what a time to be an Xbox fan, man. We have so much excitement that's around the
There's
brand right
yeah,
now.
there's
So
a lot
much,
on, and obviously we are stewards of the brand. We are proud,
absolutely,
proud speakers of the brand, right? And obviously, when they make the mistakes,
absolutely.
like sometimes we think that they do, like of course with the whole, certain games going to PlayStation, Nintendo Switch. I think that everyone that has spoken about it kind of came out and gave their, I don't like this. I understand business, but there are certain titles that make sense. There are certain titles that just don't, right? And I get it. But I think that the vocal aspect of the community has represented this brand rather well, even during some tedious situations when it comes to rumors, because obviously they're just rumors. We still haven't heard anyone from Xbox proper come out and say,
Agreed.
"Yeah, folks, listen, this is what's happening." You know, that's just business. We haven't heard that, but what we have heard is a direct coming next Thursday that is bringing four incredible games that are supposed to be released here. And in turn of this, and this is where we get to topic one, but before we get there, let me thank Highlander 001 because once again, I just don't even know what to say. He has gifted 5 more double barrel gaming memberships. Like I'm at this point, Highlander, I almost seem unworthy. Honestly, I truly do. It's just madness. And of course, I'm not stealing Mav's stuff because obviously Mav and Pong have the choo choo mother, father, sister, brother, because I can't curse on this channel kind of situation going on. So big thank you for that. Definitely appreciate it. And of course, we also have Abdel114, who's been a channel member for 4 months. And he goes on to say, remember, even if some games go multiplat, Xbox still has more exclusives than ever. Very true. TTS 2024 is going to be a bloodbath. Xbox is going to own all 6 Game of the Year nominees. I mean, it's certainly possible. I mean, right? That's certainly possible. But let's
Facts.
get into the first topic, and I know you're gonna run rampant. Like I envision you like pulling an Ultimate Warrior. You're running down the ring, you beat the balls off somebody, you run out, and you get the belt. That's it. Where'd he go? What happened? That was the honky tonk match. Remember that he came out 15 seconds. He was the champ, well, the Intercontinental Champion. It
Oh
was
my
the
god.
greatest time in wrestling, right? So
Yes, yes, indeed.
let's talk port begging 101. Now, I'm not normally a console warrior, right? Like that's not the kind of the rivers or the oceans I like to sail in. But I think that's what really makes this partnership between C Money and myself on this particular show one to keep an eye on, the one to watch. And I don't mean to toot my own horn here, but we are very much the yin and yang, right? He has a very abrupt way of telling you about yourself, and I have a more I'm a peaceful Jedi, but I'll cut your hand off if I need to, kind of a person. And I think that's what really makes this show a lot of fun. And obviously, it's why I like working with him. But the
Yeah,
port
man.
begging situation, see money, seems to be a little bit out of control. Now, I
Facts.
will say that I think that being in the Twitter X community, I am pretty knowledgeable of what goes on. I mean, I tweet 15, 20 times a day. I have thousands of tweets. I don't think in all of the time being on this particular social media platform did I ever once see Xbox gamers rallying together to try and get a PlayStation game like, I don't know, Spider-Man onto the Xbox. Like I've never seen that happen. And if I missed it, then it must be a very small number. Because what most of us do when we want to play a game that's on Switch or on PlayStation that is first party, we do what adult gamers do. We go out and we purchase said system and we play said game, and we like it or we don't, but we support it and we get a chance to play. We never sit down and port beg about, oh, what's coming to the PlayStation or coming to the Nintendo Switch. Now, granted, even though it's a rumor, it's what stokes these fires. So, of course, these 4 games get announced. Obviously, it's Aria, which is going to PC first. You have Avowed, which is already announced, but we're getting a big update on it. Obviously, Hellblade 2 is going to show in its best way ever. We're going to get a release date more than likely. I don't think it's a shadow drop, but it's obviously going to be out in the first couple of months of the year. At least it seems that way because based on what we saw at the Game Awards, the game looks done, right? And of course, the big
Facts.
surprise, the huge surprise of the conversation is Indiana Jones. And of course, with that being announced, now we're starting to see the port begging. Why can't I get this on my console? Or yes, it's coming because of this rumor. Folks, I'm here to tell you, Aaron Greenberg said it best. And I think he did it in a very walk silently and carry a very big knucklehead stick, right? In the tweet, saying, "Hey, listen, we can't wait to see you next Thursday. Time to get excited." Coming to Xbox and PC and Game Pass. I think it was pretty apparent. I don't
Facts.
understand the disconnect. I don't understand why people are hoping and praying that these games come to your console. I just want to say hashtag stop begging. Hashtag buy an effing Xbox. I don't know what else to say, but I'm going to hand it over to C Money. What is the deal with this?
Well, I mean, it's pretty simple. You know, look at the roadmap that PlayStation has in front of it. I mean, I've never seen like even like us Xbox dudes when we didn't have games like that, like first party games like that. I've never seen these people get so carried away with the idea that number one, third party games are somehow equivalent to them having first party bangers, which we know it's not. Second, they're out here looking at their barren ass roadmap. They know they have nothing to come. They're basically shooting their load in January when they get their remastered, part 2 of The Last of Us. They got nothing coming out of any consequence that means anything. The only other game that they have is what, Helldivers? That's again, you look at the game, you already know, sure. Is it gonna be a good game? Who knows? I have no idea. But are they gonna play it long term? Is it gonna have legs? No. Game's gonna come out, is gonna fizzle away, be gone, and is done. Then they have what? Concord? Concord that supposedly is coming out this year based off of the trailer that PlayStation gave to their pony brethren there, like their pony believers, all right, and said, "Hey guys, look, this is your 2024. This is all you're getting. A bunch of third-party games, The Last of Us Remastered, and Helldivers, and Concord." But Concord, okay, they say it. They show the same trailer in there, all that fun stuff. But Concord, they don't even believe in it enough to put the damn game on the thumbnail. It's a first-party game. First party game, the thumbnail of that little 2024, video they put out there. No, they rather put Tekken 8 on that bitch than put Concord. Like, how crazy is that? This is just a situation that they're in now, and they do not know what to do. That's why these ponies won't stop. They have no comprehension of what is happening to them. They haven't
Yeah.
had to go against an Xbox like we have now. They didn't
Well, the
think
behemoth
it
has been
meant
awoken,
anything.
right? That's really what
Exactly.
that's really what it
Dude,
comes down
Satya
to.
was never a part of this program. You know what I'm saying? Satya was like, "I'm focusing on Azure. I'm focusing on our things. You guys do have fun with your Xbox. Just make sure it makes some money." And once everything started going south, Phil went, talked to Satya. Yo, Satya's in. That means Microsoft's in. That means the $1 trillion behemoth is here and willing to spend to make it happen. And I'm telling you that you can trace it back. You can see the way they talked and did things, even when it comes to like reviews and stuff. Everything was different up until the moment that it became clear Activision Blizzard was going to close because their leader told them, said it to the world, no matter how embarrassing it was for him to do it. He said, if this deal closes, we'll never recover. And this is the fact. There's nowhere for them to go. We have their most valuable game. Call of Duty is PlayStation's most valuable game, and it's ours. They are paying us for the privilege.
Yep.
For the privilege to have that game. If you go past that 10-year point, and again, as much as that feels like a far away time, it's really not. Time is going. So you're talking into the next generation. If Xbox so decided, it could be gone from them, right? It won't be, but it could be, right? And that's this kind of fear that they have because that is a huge source of income from them. And then you're not even talking about like Xbox in general being huge on their platform with Minecraft, right? So it's just the fact that when you look at these people, it's so sad because they're not used to this, right? They're used to being at the top of the pot, right? They just assume any game that's announced is coming to them, right? But now with this new version of Xbox, when they see how many studios they have, they know that Phil is not going to go ahead and let another Redfall situation happen. Outside of Redfall, everything that has been released out of the Xbox camp has been of quality. 2022, you can say what you want about 2022. Yes, they didn't have the AAA games because the AAA games they had scheduled got pushed back, but everything else they released that year, quality games.
Even though they were smaller, they were still quality games.
Exactly.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And again, granted,
Exactly.
I still consider, and I'm not gonna back down off of this particular square. It was a fail for Xbox and leadership because what wound up happening is they kind of got caught with their pants down. Their three big bangers that were supposed to release wound up having to be pushed into the next year. Now, granted, one of the three wound up being, less than expected in Redfall, and I make no excuses for it. I have 80 hours in it. Go check the stats, folks. It's right there. I don't hide my achievements or my trophies. You can find anything you want on me. I got over 80 hours in the game, and every time I put it on, and we get an update, it's getting better. Now, is it gonna hit? Is it gonna be a AAA monster? Not this version. If they decide that there's enough here to do a sequel, that is when we'll see a return of what we expect. The return on investment for that. But you cannot say that Motorsport and Starfield were not quality. It's just I don't know what else to say, brother.
I mean, it's just you can't. But I mean, even with that, for me, obviously, everybody has their eyes on it and their thoughts on it. For me, I can't go at Phil and be like, "Yo, I want you to make sure you do the right thing by us and make sure you give our developers the time they need." And then when he looked at the slate, the developers came and asked, and he gave them the time they needed, even though Redfall still didn't work out. I mean, for him to do that as a leader, to say, "Man, we're gonna get ripped a new asshole," but it's still something that I much rather say I gave them the opportunity to do the best that they could. I can't go and I'm never gonna look at 2022 and be like, "Phil failed us." No. Phil did what he had to do as a leader to make sure we were in the best position, because guess what? Starfield was amazing. Who knows what would have happened in 2022 had they
Right.
just dropped it.
It would have released with even a lot of bugs. It would have been one of those things that it might have even been unforgettable.
E
Right? Like it's just like,
exactly.
oh, Starfield, yeah, another bug Bethesda, right?
Exactly. Exactly. So you can't like you can't want both sides, right? They
Yes.
have certain games planned. Again, remember, this is, they have to put things in line, and their Xbox, the first party games that they had, that they purchased in 2018, the studios, they were gearing up, man, and the games weren't ready for that time. Bethesda was supposed to fill that gap, and obviously they needed more time. So look, they still released games. And again, you take a game like Pentiment, yeah, it's not for everyone, but you know what it was for? The people who liked it. Bro, that game got tens. It got tens.
It did get tens.
You
Yeah.
can't deny the fact that the games that were released were good to great. For it might be a specific niche, but still, it is what it is. 2023 was a banger. Now, I know Forza has like this thing going on right now where, Digital Foundry kind of exposed some things that, without, if you're not like really looking, yeah, you don't notice it. But if you slow it down and you see, like, okay, Forza really
You could
didn't
do that about
hit
any game, dude. Honestly,
true.
to me, listen. I get that's what they do, but that to me seemed more of a hit piece than you trying to bring in the masses. Like, oh, by the way, look at this. Look who's behind the curtain. Oh yeah, it's again the motorsport is a phenomenal piece of technology working in front of you. It's an amazing game. It is better. I don't care what you say. I don't care how you slow it down. I don't care how you flip it. It is better. And what's aggravating, I think about what you're getting into with Digital Foundry and
Motorsport.
Motorsport
Good.
versus Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo has 2 years worth of updates that they took to get where they are versus a game
Facts.
that came out at the end of the year. I'm just saying, like, if
Facts.
we're going to call this down the middle, if we're going to be fair in our criticism, be fair, because a game that has already been out for 2 years that consistently is getting updates versus a game that has only had about, I don't know what, 4, 5 updates, and it's only been out for 6 months. Right? Like, I mean, like,
Well,
what are
if
we
that,
doing
like,
here?
it didn't come out October, November, December,
Yeah,
January,
October.
3
Yeah,
months.
there you go.
3
So,
months.
well, there you
No,
go.
for sure, and that's what I was kinda getting to. I know that there's, like, these things that they're showing, and it showed everything. Listen, pound for pound, I have them both. there's nothing you could convince me. Playing Forza is a whole different experience. I don't give a shit about pausing the game and seeing this. It's visually way better than Gran Turismo when you're playing the game. That's just what I feel when I watch it. But either way, aside from all that, the point is that Xbox is delivering and is going to deliver even more than what PlayStation can even comprehend. Bro, I could tell you right now, you look at those 4 games that are on that list right now for the developer direct. Each of those games outside of Ara, so Ara I think could, but obviously has more of a niche situation, right?
It is going to appeal to the RTS community, and listen,
Yes.
let's not downplay them, because even though RTSs are not my bag, I know a ton of content creators and community members that absolutely live in that world. And you know what?
Facts.
You see, that's the difference here. Every one of
Exactly.
those games that were listed, they're all different in their own way, which is what makes Game Pass so special. See, again,
They're all gonna be somebody's game of the year.
there you
Like,
go, brother. That's what I'm
that's
talking
the
about.
point. So that's my point with this all. This one show is gonna produce 4 different games that at any point in time could have been PlayStation's one game for that year.
Yep.
And that's the level of what we're talking about with the first show of the year for Xbox. Now think about that. The first show, yo, first of all, hashtag C Money was right. If any of y'all watch my stuff, you know that I've been saying since the leak of Bethesda's list of games that they had, and all of them, I looked at it, I deduced it, right? I did my detective work, and I looked at it, and I saw every game that released from Bethesda from that list released 2 years after the date in the damn list. And I said it from the beginning. Indiana Jones says 2022. That's damn game is going to come out in 2024. I said it, and I was mother effing right. And if you're coming at me saying, well, see money, just because it's at that direct doesn't mean it's coming out. Bro, 2023, 5 games talked about, 5 games released. Get the F out of here with your crap. The game's coming out this year is going to be fire. And again, Indiana Jones could have been the secret game of the show.
I
right?
have some, and again, I can't say it. I learned some really. We'll talk after the show because, folks, like I said, last night after prime time, I got to hang out with the guys. I got a tidbit of someone went like this. Boom, come over. I said, "What's up? Yeah, come over." It went like this, and it took the curtain. They just kind of pinched it back a little bit, and I was like, and they're
Oh my
like,
God.
"You can't say anything, brother," but just, and I'm like this. I close the curtain. I don't want to know anymore. It's too much. I can't handle it. Folks, I'm here to tell you 2024 is going to potentially, because the cards and the stars still have to line up, one of the best first party outputs. Listen to what I'm about to tell you in console platform effing history. That is how big of a year they're going to have. Now, granted, people are going to try and tear you down and try and hold you back. They cannot, I'll put it to this way. Xbox is going to be so big based on what is out there and what I personally know and what some other people are talking about, that you can't stop it. You can only hope to contain it. See money.
Dude, I feel it. I mean, again, they show it. This first freaking show of the year shows you everything you need to know about the fact that this is just their opening salvo. They feel like what they have for the rest of the year is that much more impressive. Yo, this is crazy what we have. Again, I'm not like, I can't state it any stronger. These 4 games, if there was nothing else out of first party, nothing, if there was 0 out of first party Xbox, this year would be damn it, I don't want to curse, a banger. All right, it would be a banger of a year. Well, again, you take. Go ahead.
No, no. I let you continue because you're on a roll. But isn't this what Phil Spencer promised?
It's exactly what he said. A game a quarter. He gave that if they spread it out right now, we got already our four games for the year.
There you go.
And we know that this is not all we're getting.
No.
But the fact that this right now, these 4 games, what do we get for PlayStation in 2023? Spider-Man 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's break down what Spider-Man 2. Was it a new IP? No. No. Was it even new-ish? No. They basically took 2018, threw in the other dude, added Venom, and gave you ray tracing. Okay. This is what the game was. It wasn't a new engine. They didn't say, let's go make a next-gen engine. No, same game. Okay, great. Year before that, what did we get? What do we get in 2022? God of War Ragnarok? That was the big game that came out the year before in 2022. Come on, man. Ragnarok, take the pony out of it. Ragnarok was again another same situation. 2018 was a better game. Okay, it was definitively better than Ragnarok. Ragnarok was just a rescan. Dude, Corey Borlaug didn't even want to make the damn game. He gave it to somebody else to make for him, and while he go work on something else. All right. So these 4 games right now, you put it up against the last 2 years of PlayStation, just these 4 games, Xbox wins. Easy. Not even a second thought. You add the fact that we had Starfield last year. Come on, man. Xbox is poised to change the narrative of gaming because I cannot think of another time in gaming history where a console, one guy, one company was going to be able to give as many high quality, high end games in 1 year, dude. I can't think of it. All right, I cannot think of it.
Mr. Digit just he is wrong for this. He said,
What'd he
what
say?
did PlayStation get in 2023? Quantum error.
Well, shit.
I mean, look, each consoles they have their bombs, right? That's a
Oh my
sad
God.
reality. But that
Yeah,
thing
but that was like
that
a
thing
destructive bomb. Like that was like
that was sold that we were
the
sold
nuclear bomb.
the bill of goods that did not deliver. I'm just saying that.
No, man.
Yeah,
No.
it's fine.
I just I if that so to wrap it all up though, when you after all of this that I just said and what we talked about right now, let's go back to the original question. Why are the ponies port begging?
Yeah. Well, there you
Look
go.
at what we got and look at what they got. They know that this is just the beginning. PlayStation already told them this is all you're getting in 2024. That trailer they put out didn't say, hey, look at the start of 2024 or look at the beginning of 2024. It said, here is your 2024 PlayStation fans. And that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
And now
I
we
mean,
supposedly have a state of play that's possibly going to come next month. What is that going to be? Oh, you're going to have the ponies get excited. Oh, our secret showcase is here. It's happening. All they're going to do is talk about the same whack ass games they showed us in the 2024 trailer and do a little bit more talk about it. So exciting for the ponies. So exciting.
I mean, look, I think we're at a crux or a crossroad that at some point, right? Like you have to realize that the first party games and I'm gonna really pull some wording from Everborn Saga. There are certain quote unquote sacred cows that even though they are going to be or are already gas games will never be on any other platform other than Xbox and PC. That is Halo, which is in front of you. That is Gears of War, which will never be anywhere else. And of course, Forza. Forza is a gas game. Forza Horizon is a gas game. That is never going anywhere outside of PC and Xbox. And those are the quote unquote sacred cows, right? Those are the pillars that hold up the box. Now you might say, well, what about In Exile's time travel game? Maybe that has a shot. Why? See, my thing with this whole conversation is you never hear the gaming media, you never hear the gamers of said platform ever say, "Oh, um, our game is gonna be everywhere." You would never hear that. What you would hear is our games are gonna go over there. Why would they? right? And obviously, you that's not the conversation that we are currently having, right? The port begging, it needs to stop. And if you don't have, and that's the thing that just let's just let's take the dollars and let it make sense, right? Let's be consumers. Let's not be fanboys or girls. Let's not be console warriors. Let's actually just be a consumer, right? 2024 has come in, and right out of the gate, thousands of people in the gaming industry have lost their job. 25% of what happened last year happened in the first 10 days of this year for the gaming development community. Gross. And I'm hoping that everybody that's effective gets an invitation by somebody, because that's one thing I will say about the gaming industry. They open their doors and they do kind of hold arm in arm, and I love that about the gaming development community, right? So everyone that's affected, not the way you expected to start off 2024, right? If you're talking about just the general average consumer, i.e., me, I don't work because I'm retired. I earned that right to retire, and I have a great pension, and it is great. Pays my medical, pays my dental, pays my glasses, and I have a good salary. But I earned it, right? I wasn't given that. It, as great as it is, see money, it has a ceiling. And I say this all the time. One of the most impressive things about Xbox Game Pass in its pricing is it allows for everyone on every financial station to be a part of the conversation.
Facts.
I really think people take that for granted.
They
All
do.
you have to do is look over and say, okay, Nintendo is now charging $70 for certain games. They are PlayStation is charging 70 based on the leaked documents. They want to charge you 80, maybe even 90, which is ridiculous.
Yep.
Xbox gives you, just imagine for a second, just before we have any more announcements, there are already, see money, 40 games slated. 41
Facts.
now with PAL, the game that
Yes.
was now
What an awesome get, man.
right, coming to
What an
Xbox
awesome get.
Game Pass day and date. 41
A1, bro.
games, and these 3 games, I mean, I'm sorry, these 4 games are gonna be in Xbox Game Pass this year, one on PC, which obviously that's Aria, and then the other are gonna be on console. How do you look yourself in the mirror as a gamer and be like, "Yeah, I can't hang with those Xbox dudes. It's too much value." Like, if you're not invested and you're not a part of it, I think that you need to really sit down and evaluate some things, because Sony is not going to put their games in a service. They never will. Nintendo literally has no reason to, because they have such an attach rate. It's unlike any other platform in gaming. So begging for these games to come over to your platform, folks, it's not happening. Phil Spencer didn't lie. Sarah Bond didn't lie. Matt Booty didn't lie. Buy a freaking Xbox. Stop begging for these games
Facts.
and holding your breath, when the truth of the matter is, and this is where I kind of really drive the point home here, History Money, and I want you to elaborate on it. If
Yep.
I'm not mistaken, ladies and gentlemen, I was told and shoved into my face, I don't know, almost every conversation, that we don't need Xbox. I
Mm.
have a $3,000 to $5,000 PC and a PlayStation. That's all I need. So stop begging and go get a Game Pass subscription and play your games on your $5,000 rig. Because, oh, wait, hold on a second. You don't have a $5,000 rig? You don't
They're
even have
liars,
a
bro.
$1,000 rig? So what's the conversation?
Full of crap.
Yeah.
That's the conversation. They're full of crap. And listen, I mean, I get like that's my thing. That's why I think a lot of the community and myself included, where I get annoyed with this idea that we're taking these rumors that are there. And I know, there's some, big people who've come out and said that they know that some of these rumors are true, or at least they were true in some form or fashion, right? And that's cool. That's fine. But this is the thing. I can't go ahead and look at Phil Spencer who has been straight laced with us the entire time, right? If something's going on, he jumps out in front of it and talks about it. You have people like Aaron Greenberg, you have the Xbox account, you have the Microsoft account jumping into this whole discussion, obviously not making broad statements, right? Because again, they cannot be at the whim of these rumor starters, right? Phil can't wake up every morning and be like, "Up, here's a new rumor. Draft me a statement, okay, that says that that rumor is false." Like that's not how shit. That's not how it works. Okay, they're not going to sit there and every time some random person decides they want their 5 minutes of fame, that they're going to start a rumor or know someone who has some inside information on this stuff. He can't respond to it. But you go and you look, and his team comes out and they say it, and they say it in a way where you have to, all you have to do is look at it and it tells you. We had a whole discussion about Blade, right? Oh, there's going third party, blah 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 blah. Oh, it's coming. They didn't put the name, the console on it or whatever. And then what did Aaron Greenberg do? Aaron Greenberg came out. He changed his image just for a little bit, just
Yep.
to let the hardcore know, hey, you're good. Got Blade, Xbox in his eyes, thumbs up, right? Don't worry about it, guys. It's an Xbox game, not going over there. But again, they go and they run with this stuff. Just like you said, Aaron Greenberg goes ahead, puts that post. Hey, look at the show. Games coming to Xbox, PC, and Game Pass. All right. The Xbox wire that was associated with it, if you read it, it says this is just part of our commitment to bring Xbox players, these amazing or can't miss experiences or whatever it is that they said. They're trying to tell you. You had the Xbox account say, "Oh, New Year energy, what's in, what's out, what's in first party games,
Yeah, they did.
console
They did
love."
say that, dude. Yeah, it's a great freaking point.
Absolutely. First party games. Why do they say New Year energy 8 days into the month? That's not. They're responding. Okay. They see what's going on and they're smart. They come out and they find a clever way to say what they want us to know without being blatant. Because again, they cannot feed the ponies. They cannot feed these rumor makers and make them
Yep.
feel important and come out with a statement every time. So they make that statement. And then Microsoft responds to that, and in their little part, one of the things that they say, don't believe everything you read on the internet. Why
I'm
would
just
they
saying,
say
like,
that?
that is as pretty much as clear as day,
Clear
right?
cut,
Like,
bro. We
yeah,
broke we did a few videos on this stuff. We broke all this down, showing you the statements, showing you the things that these people said. There's no denying it. It's there. So when I look at this, am I going to look at this and say, "Oh my God, why is Xbox doing this? This is so stupid, blah, blah, blah." No, I'm not going to say anything like that because they haven't said that they're doing this. Now, we wake up tomorrow morning and this is a blog post saying, "Hey, all these games are coming to PlayStation, coming to Nintendo." That whole different discussion, right? Whole different discussion. But do I think we need to sit here and spread that conversation around because it's going to give us a lot of clicks and a lot of views on our stuff?
yep,
No, I don't. Because what that shows me is that you're less about Xbox and more about you going ahead and gaining from it, right? Taking advantage of Xbox. You like to work that angle. But I don't think that's something that we need to be doing. And I think that there's a lot of people in the community who also can't stand that type of idea. And I just
yep,
don't think it's necessary because Phil has spoken, Aaron spoke, Sarah's out here. They're doing everything they can to let us know. And I have all the receipts from every time. Phil Spencer literally just came out and had an interview with Windows Central a few
with
weeks
Jez
ago.
Corden. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yep,
saying that he has no intentions of bringing Game Pass or anything like that. We already know from his previous statements that these exclusives are going to live wherever Game Pass lives. That's it. It's not going to be different just because they decide. What first party game, absolute first party, not this second party stuff, what first party Xbox game have you played on a different console of consequence that wasn't already there? That wasn't part of it, right? That's not one of these legacy games that was a part of it. I don't know of any. You
No,
didn't
me
see
either.
Halo, you
Nope.
didn't see Gears, you didn't see any of these games that are Xbox first party games. We definitely have seen Cuphead, things that are part of that the second party branch, right? Where they do these publishing deals, right?
Ori,
Sure.
Cuphead,
Ori, Cuphead, the As Dust Falls,
that's another
right?
one. Yes, yeah.
Yep, sure. That's fine. Because why? Because yo, Xbox is changing the game. They don't care. They don't need it. They have enough first party. They're just doing these deals to get us more. Right. So, yes, we get these second party deals. They fund them. They make sure these games go through so we can get them. And then they care enough, not only about us, but about the developers. That's the part that a lot of people are ignoring with Xbox, is that Xbox is not just changing the game for us. It's changing the game for these developers who have a place to go to mitigate their risk, where they can come out with something like this Power World, this Pokemon shooter, right?
Right. Yeah, dude,
That
it looks so freaking good.
it
Pal
looks
World.
dope.
My
But is
goodness,
it
it
a
looks good.
game that people are going to go out in droves and buy? No, but they look like they spent some money on this game. It looks phenomenal. It's a risk. And what did Microsoft do? They got the deal. They
Yep.
took the deal. They gave these people some cash. That studio probably recouped its costs right from that deal. And now, if it does good, great. If it doesn't, they can move on. I mean, this is the Xbox is literally, for all you ponies out there who are hating on Xbox, for all you half breeds out there who keep questioning Xbox, understand they are. I'm going to say it, I've said it, and I'm going to keep saying it because it's the truth. Xbox is the savior of creativity in the AAA space. This is just the reality. They allow their teams to make these big games that, listen, no matter how you look at it, Hellblade is gonna be a niche type of game. When people start hearing all the sounds and the mental health stuff, that is stuff that is not gonna be super AAA, like sell millions, right? I mean, it'll sell millions, but like, like blowout type stuff, right? It's not going to happen, right? But they allow them. Look at how much they're investing into these worlds. They're letting their teams do what they want to do.
Yep.
I'll never forget it. The best thing I heard as a leader coming out of Phil's freaking mouth was he closed ABK deal, and instead of freaking relaxing, taking a break, taking a vacation from all the stress, the
Yep.
deal closed. Did he take a break? No. My man said, I am getting on a plane. I'm going to Sweden. I'm going to go talk
You'll meet all
to
the
King.
peoples.
I want to meet them. I want
Yeah.
them to know who we are. I want them to know that they're valuable. I want to hear what they are passionate about. And he went to every studio to find out what they are passionate about. He said, I have a list of games I would like to be made, but I want to know what they want to do.
Yeah.
That's a leader. And that is who we're backing on Xbox, not these PlayStation console that can give three craps about
And
anybody. They don't care about their developers and they don't care about their consumers. They're in the old school mentality of forcing their studios to do what they think is right, not let the studios do what they're supposedly first class at. Right?
yep.
They're supposedly these phenomenal, amazing studios. We should all look up to Naughty Dog. We should all look up to these huge studios that are supposed to be so top tier. But PlayStation doesn't even trust them. PlayStation, their own company, doesn't even trust them enough to let them cook and do what they want. They gave Naughty Dog God knows how many years to make factions and said, you know
3
what?
years. 3 years in
Scrap that
development.
shit.
Yeah.
Scrap it. Because Bungie came in, and then Bungie goes and fires everybody who works at their studio because they can't even get their shit together. Listen, I know I'm going off in a whole different
Listen,
direction,
but
but
that's
it's
what I love
just
about this. This is a conversational podcast. You made a lot of phenomenal points. You made a lot of strong arguments as to why one brand is going up the escalator, the other one is going down the escalator. That it's just facts. And this is not console warring. This is being truthful. This is being bringing the evidence into the conversation, which is what we're about to do. Because let me tell you something, C Money. I don't know when. I don't know how. Well, I know why. Microsoft or specifically Xbox would want to team up with Sega because, well, quite frankly, it is a legacy brand. It is still holds great power in the East, where Microsoft, or again, specifically Xbox, has struggled for decades. And like I said, we're going to go back to an article that was written by Eurogamer. I have it in front of me. The art author was Tom Phillips. This was updated November 1st of 2021. Now, this announcement was, of course, the strategic alliance that was announced by the president of Sega and Xbox to produce large scale global games built using Microsoft's Azure cloud platform. And this is what it goes on to say, C Money. The Sonic maker said the agreement the agreement would form, in parentheses, a key part of Sega's mid to long term strategy, which it has been dubbed as Super Game. This initiative is designed to develop games where the key focuses are global, online, community, and IP utilization. Goes on to say this, and this is the quote from the president of Sega. We are very pleased to announce today that we are considering a strategic alliance with Microsoft to help develop Sega's new Super Game initiative, as well as build a next generation game development environment. And the president of Sega was, I don't know if he's still the president, I don't know if they've changed him yet. It was Yukio Usino. Suino is the president. Now, he goes on to say in this article, folks, by considering a strategic partnership with Microsoft, we seek to further advance our game development so that our titles can be enjoyed by fans all over the world. In this regard, we aim to build an alliance that utilizes both Sega's powerful game development capabilities and Microsoft's cutting edge technology and development environment. Now, this is a quote from Madam President Sarah Bond, and she says this, folks. Sega has played such an iconic role in the gaming industry and has been a tremendous partner over the years. We look forward to working together as they explore new ways to create unique gaming experiences for the future using Microsoft's cloud technologies. Together, we will reimagine how games are built, hosted, and operated with a goal of adding more value to players and Sega alike. Now, I want to turn our attentions. This post came the way of Genki _ JPN on Twitter. And it was a SegaSammy.com.jp press release. And it goes on to say this, folks. This is where we start stirring the pot. Sega has transferred its amusement business to Sega Toys, which will be renamed Sega Fave. Sega will focus on multi-platform development and development and a global release of major titles such as Sonic the Hedgehog, Persona, and the Like a Dragon series. Now, why this is important, C Money, and why we're having this conversation, because of course it was just reported and again, this comes the way of Peter Ovo, another outstanding community member that you should follow. It's at Peter OVO5 on Twitter. He is, of course, up there with the Hazador Gamings. He is there, of course, with the Idle Sloths, who consistently give us and bring us new information within the gaming that obviously goes across the entire industry. And this is what's interesting. He says, of course, just reaffirming what I just said, Sega has separated its amusement business from its gaming division. Sarah Bond has congratulated the new CEO of Sega of America and Europe. Sarah Bond has had the cryptic Sega photo in 2023. Now, again, this is just, it's breadcrumbs, right? It's just breadcrumbs, C Money, but I think there is enough here to suggest that there is something brewing in the background. Now, obviously, the original tweet comes the way of the Game Awards, right? That's Jeff Keighley's joint. And it says, Sega has appointed Shuji Atsumi, as president, COO, and CEO of Sega America and Europe. Now, uh, Atsumi-san has helped, and this is he has a very stout background. He helped launch the PlayStation in the United States at Sony. He helped launch the Dreamcast at Sega and was involved in the creation of Kingdom Hearts at Disney Interactive as well as Q Entertainment. Now, he obviously holds a massive, massive position within Sega. What's interesting here, C Money, is this is the same gentleman that made the statement about appreciating the respect that he gets from Xbox, unlike the other platforms. Now,
Right.
obviously, it's just breadcrumbs, but I do want to turn your attentions, folk, over to, of course, the Game Awards. Because during the Game Awards, for me, as a Sega apologist, as someone that deems and has talked about it publicly as the Dreamcast being my favorite console of all time, they had a commercial where we didn't get a trailer for a game. We got a trailer of 5 games coming out, all Sega classic IP. But I think that real talking point here is the fact that the 2 actors in that commercial had Xbox Series X S controllers in their hands. That is very telling. It could have been a PlayStation controller, which is the more popular brand right now. It could have been the Switch controller. It could have been a Switch. It wasn't, C Money. So now you start piling all these breadcrumbs, and of course, moments ago, Sarah Bond congratulates the new COO. I don't know because I know that I had made mention. Do you remember that last year when Sarah Bond took that picture from the car and it
Yep.
was the Sega headquarters?
Yep.
I mean, I'm no Detective Clouseau. I'm just saying that it reads like there's more here, and I'm going to take it a step further. You folks have heard this. I don't think you've ever heard me say this. C Money. My thought and my theory is that Sega is in the works of making a Sega channel. That's my hot take. That's not an inside connection that I have. This is just my observation because they're working on too many games at one time that all look like they are going to go into a streaming service that you pay a certain amount of money for. And obviously, it's going to be multi-plat. You're going to get it on PlayStation. You're going to get it on Switch, Switch 2. You're going to get it on PC. But this is where
Did they
the
announce
X.
that in that trailer?
Well, they did not. They
Did it
just
say Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo?
just some of the wording is they want it to be multi-plat. So I mean, that's where I'm taking it. I think it is going to be multi-plat. And I could be 1,000% wrong. Absolutely. I don't think they really did. I can pull it up and we can watch it live and we'll see what happens. Whether or not they say it, but it makes sense with the investment that Microsoft is making into the super games for Sega, allowing them to have this extra money to fund all of these games. There's a lot of development going on. I mean, a lot of development. Would it
Facts.
make sense, see money, for that channel, that new potential Sega channel that they're going to make money hand over fist on other platforms, be dropped into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate the same way EA Play is?
I mean, if you
Let's talk about it, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, that's pretty much what Game Pass is, right? It's the Sega channel of the times, right? Like
Right.
it's what Sega would have been doing now had they still been a console, right? So I don't see that as too far-fetched. I mean, I just think like I can see what you're saying. I feel like on top of all those breadcrumbs that you laid out, right, and all these little tidbits that we look at, there's
Mhm.
one piece that I think we're not bringing up that really ties this all together, right? Phil already brought up the idea of purchasing Sega.
You know what?
Like, this is like
You you
like, I don't like, we're ignoring it, but
yeah.
this was already talked about by Phil. He's already gone to them. He already wants to purchase them. Whether Sega is thinking of doing that right now or not, the cards are on the table already. Xbox has already said, "Okay, this is what we want." So, absolutely, they're gonna keep strengthening that partnership. Is is the fact that now they've divided their company to make it easier to be purchased? I mean, yeah, for me, I look at that and I see it. I know a lot of people thinking that maybe, oh no, they won't buy them. They'll try to get around regulation and they'll own percentage of it. I mean, the only thing I would say to that is what company in gaming do they own just a percentage of? I don't know of any. Do they own a percentage of any,
I
just owning a
I
percentage?
don't think that they do. You know what
Because
I'm
why didn't they
saying?
do that with Bethesda, right? Why didn't they just say, "Okay, we'll own a percentage of you, not give you 8,000,000,000?" Or why not, "Let's own 49% of Activision Blizzard instead of buying the whole boat," right? Um, I just don't see them changing gears for Sega. I don't see them saying, let's do a dance and we're gonna fund your development of PlayStation games and Nintendo games." I just don't see it. I don't
Makes
see them doing
sense.
that. I see them going ahead and either they just partner with them as they are, not owning anything, just have a partnership, or what we can assume, because again, like, these are not, understand, these are not like YouTubers, right? Phil Spencer wasn't sitting there with his homies like, "Yo, you know what would be dope? You know, let's what if we bought Sega, right? Like, let's do it." No, they did research. They spent real dollars investing in research, investing in people looking into this, seeing if this could make sense. How would this work out? How would it benefit them? They don't do that stuff for nothing, and they don't do it in a way to waste. They don't. That's not the business model, right? When they do that, yeah, sure. Do they do exploratory things? Absolutely. But this was something that they want. And you can see if there was no words after that about Sega, then you could look at it like, oh man, it came and went. But no, it's something that they went to. Now you don't know what Satya said about it. Satya could be like, listen, I like the idea. All right,
Right.
but let's see what else they do. Cause right now they're not really making too much that's gonna help us, right? They're the things that they're getting, we're already getting in Game Pass or whatever the case. Like, now that we see all these games that they're making a bunch of remakes, right? Perfect for Game Pass, right? Because just like you said, the Sega channel, this is perfect for Game Pass. If Xbox owned Sega and they could just pump out these games, put them in the Game Pass, come on, man, that would be crazy.
Well,
That would be
what does
amazing.
Game Pass need to succeed? Content.
That's it.
Consistent,
It's
ridiculous
content pipeline.
content. Yes.
And having the IP to be able to do it, and not just the IP, but the studios willing to do it, which obviously Sega has many studios who are willing to do these games, because that's what we're seeing. They literally showed us trailers of 5 different games, and then it says plus more.
Yeah.
So that's just the ones that they decided to show us right now. Then they announced them on the back end. It's like, yo, I I don't see Xbox becoming a PlayStation where it's like, yo, we can't afford to do it, so we got to buy part of you, or we got to invest a little bit because we can't afford to. We're talking a different game, fam. They're the richest company right now that
You
exists.
know,
They
it's
don't
funny
need
you
no
say that
fucking
because yeah,
shares. They just buy the building, bro. Like, that's what they do. They haven't showed you anything else. They don't rent. They're not out here in public housing. They are purchasing buildings. Okay? They're
yeah,
purchasing
they
buildings.
are. Folks, FYI, if you're not sure what C money is referring to as being reported by all of the big business trades, Microsoft has overtaken Apple as the world's most valuable company. That happened today, folks. That is a fact. And I got to tell you, when you consider March is going to be very telling. And I think that it will really answer the question for whether or not games have to go third party, because it's going to be the first quarter, right? Well, no. Well, okay, let me just make I clarify it. It is the third quarter. of the business year. Though it's going to be the first quarter for Microsoft, where they are going to leaps and bounds dominate every other gaming company, like
Mhm.
by leaps and bounds, and that's of course thanks
Facts.
to Activision Blizzard King. That is a fact. Now you can call it cheating. There's some people trying to run with that. Yeah, but it's cheating. They bought it. Shut up.
No, they made the money. That's why they
They
bought it,
made the
so it's not
money, they
cheating.
spent the money, it's theirs, it counts as theirs. Are you being ridiculous now? Isn't that how business
Yep.
works? Business 101, buy something and it's yours. Make money off of it. Oh, I don't know. That's what an idea, right? That's what happened. But yes, that is what C money is referring to. Look, I'm going to
And
say this,
just
C money.
real quick, you did
Sure,
say
sure.
just because you just mentioned it right now, and
Mhm.
you said about needing to go third party, right? Or if they
Right.
need to bring their games elsewhere. So
They don't.
let's do a thought exercise real quick, okay?
Sure.
So we could see if there's any need involved. Let me ask you a question. Uh Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, who has the most money?
Oh, that'd be Microsoft. Yes.
That's Microsoft. Okay. So PlayStation, out of the 3, they're not as big as Microsoft. They have first party titles, right?
Yes.
We know that they couldn't even afford to buy Bungie cash. Okay, they had to take a loan. Okay. We know that they try to merge with a company, they can't even come up with the funds to do it. Okay. So my question is, does PlayStation need to bring their first party games to Xbox?
That's a question, man. That's a question that people will say no. But if a game
So
is
so
costing you $300 million to make and you have to sell X amount of copies to break even, and you haven't sold those break even copies on one platform, and you're not doing day and date with PC, it's certainly a great question. Just saying.
So the ponies would say no, but we know that out of anybody here, anybody in the gaming business, they're the ones who would benefit most from putting their first party titles in other places
Indeed.
because they need the money. How can you have the balls to look at Microsoft again, number one in dollars
Yeah.
in the world or in the country. I don't know how they rate it, but
No,
whatever.
no,
They're number
that's
one.
the world,
Okay.
brother. That's the
Okay.
world.
So number one, and you have the balls to say
Yes.
they need to put their first party games on another system. Let me remind you, because you guys don't want to look at the facts of what has been spoken by the people who actually matter. Phil Spencer was asked, does he need PlayStation for Starfield to make sense? Does he need to release Starfield on PlayStation for it to make sense? And he said, no, we do not need PlayStation. What have we heard from Xbox, from Phil, from Aaron, from Matt Booty, from Sarah, from anybody with actual knowledge of the situation that would lead anybody to believe that they need to put their games anywhere? Because the only person who made a silly ass comment was the what's his name? He's the
Nate the
COO, Tim
Hate.
Stewart.
Oh, to Tim Stewart.
No, no,
Yeah,
no, Tim Stewart, right?
yeah, yeah,
If
yeah,
you
yeah.
guys remember, a lot of this kerfuffle is because back when the ABK deal was going on, he put out a message saying they came out with it. They made a deal with Nintendo to bring Xbox games to Nintendo players
Right.
and to spread it out. But after that, immediately it was changed. They put out another tweet that is only Call of Duty, and that tweet was deleted. Obviously, the money guy, Tim Stewart, the non-gamer guy there,
Right.
he's like, I want to put everything everywhere. Let's do it. But time and time again, it is proven otherwise. Phil comes out and he's like, nah, man, it's not happening. Don't worry about what he got to say, because I'm telling you, it's not happening.
Right. No,
We gotta stop. We gotta
yeah, it's
stop, man. We're choosing to make the words go away. We're trying to ignore what has been said until you get an update from the man himself, or now Sarah Bond. You know, I don't I don't see how we're having these discussions about this. I don't care about rumors that are ridiculous. Nothing has been ever done that showed a real first party game, not second party, a real first party game has never come to another system. Show me otherwise. Show me
Yeah,
otherwise because it
yeah.
hasn't. What I know is that Phil wanted Starfield so bad that he bought Bethesda's and
He bought the company.
PlayStation couldn't have
Yep,
it.
that's right. That's right.
So if
Yep.
he won't give them Starfield, why is he going to go and start giving them these other games? It doesn't make any sense. Just stop with the nonsense.
Ultimately, there's no need for it. Again, we have to.
It's his company. What they don't
Right,
need it.
right.
All it's going to do is hurt the brand. Why would they hurt
Yes,
their brand so that
irreparable
they can make a couple
damage
more
is what they
pennies?
would
We know
do.
PlayStation gamers don't buy shit.
Right.
They don't spend their money. They talk about it, but they don't spend it. There's
I don't
50
know.
million
Tell me if I'm
PlayStations.
sure.
How many Spider-Man copies were sold? Was it 20? Was
No,
it 30?
it was 6 million.
6?
6 million, I
Okay,
think
come
it
on.
was. Yeah.
Let's stop. That's the highest profile exclusive that they're ever going to have.
Yeah.
That's it. With
I
the
mean,
most name recognition. God of War cannot compete. Ghost of Tsushima can't compete. Horizon can't compete. Nothing competes with Spider-Man as far as recognition. And if the world sees that game and they don't want to buy it, come on, man. What, Hi-Fi Rush is going to bring how many sales? How many sales are you going to get from PlayStation players for Hi-Fi Rush?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, it really, again, it's one of those scenarios where the dollars being spoken about don't make sense, right? Like that's the best way I could describe it. Look, see, money. Let me catch up on super chats. There's been quite, I mean,
Absolutely.
a lot of them, and we got one from Everborn, which you only have to say Sega
My
three
man.
times, and like the Candyman, he shows up. Sir X-Man drops back-to-back $2 super chat. So, brother, thank you for the generosity, and more importantly, thank you for joining us last night on Primetime Gaming. You killed it. And mind you, he was really talking from his phone because he had to be uprooted and he hasn't set up his equipment yet. So he'll be back to his regular voice, but he did a great job last night. So shout out to you, Sir X-Men. The first $2, he says this: Xbox working with all Sony enemies, payback. I mean, you're not wrong. And PlayStation players have been begging for our games since the Xbox 360 days. You're not wrong for that. We have Jacob Novick drops again back-to-back $2 super chats. And the first one, he says, a third fake insider Twitter account has been created. And the second one, he says, called Alex Smith talking some bull. Don't pay attention to that guy. Block him. That Alex Smith is a knucklehead. He tweeted this morning that I have it on great authority because I used to work for Ben Studios.
Yep.
Maybe 100 years ago, that Bandai Namco is being purchased by Sony. Sony can't afford the toll at the Tappan Zee Bridge. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, come on, folks. Let's be real here. They just can't. They just can't. So stop it.
That was hilarious.
Let's see. The Cypher Type 1 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, I always play my games with my face 2 inches from the screen so I can pixel peep for the most minute flaw in detail. Sarcasm. Yeah, I know. Don't do that. You'll go blind. So don't do that.
Yeah.
But the funny stuff, dude. Michael Mooney, generous friend of the program, drops an outstanding £5 super chat and says, what if Fable is Playground's game 2024-25 title instead of Forza Horizon 6? I think you're going to get both, to be honest with you. I think you get both games in the same year. Next year is Fable for sure. I don't have that on authority. I don't have like connections like that. I'm just guesstimating based on development time and where they're at. I think Forza, because if you talk to Fuzzy Belvedere, he's staying strong with Forza Horizon 6 this year. I mean, I'm not going to fight him on it. I'd love it. I just don't see it happening. There's just too many big games. I see it coming next year for sure. We have
and you'll be stepping on for. I feel like you'll still be stepping on.
You
Forza
would be stepping on the shoes
because
or the
you still want them
toes.
to have give them that year to do like a big push on the second. You know what I'm saying? Like after that first year out, let them come out with a big update that gives a big push. You don't want to basically bury Motorsport with Horizon. You know how many more people prefer Horizon, so
Yeah.
I don't know. That's rough. That would be. I
No,
mean,
no,
if it happens, it's great. But
that's super
I
smart.
I
Yeah,
like it,
I
man.
absolutely think that's a well thought out theory. Andre Doyle drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Coalition GSC will be surprises at the show." I mean, it's certainly possible. I mean, look, the June
Stalker 2,
show.
man.
What's that?
That one. That's the one. That's my. I already put it out there. We made a video on it.
That's your shadow drop.
That's my theory. That's my
Dang,
fifth. That's
that's a
my
big
fifth
one.
game at the show. Remember, it was already confirmed. First quarter of 2024. We're
Indeed.
already a month into it. February is right around the corner. I I see them coming out. Why, if like Xbox has put so much money into this game as far as helping the developers with everything they have going on. You're muted. I cannot hear you, my friend. Oh, okay. Um, but they've been putting so much money into this, and they're not gonna give them a spotlight. Absolutely, they will give them a spotlight,
Yeah, yeah,
but
sure.
they're
Front and
good.
center
It's
too.
gonna
Yeah.
be the 5th game, bro. It's gonna be, and that's gonna be the shadow drop, and that's why they're not putting it there, because if they put it there on the title card, you won't assume that, right? You'll be thinking of something else. So I think it's not there because that's gonna be the 5th game. It's gonna shadow drop at the
You
show.
heard it here,
If it
folks.
happens,
He
you
said
heard it
it.
here. I said
Yeah, well
it.
what that's going to do is we're going to have to race for to bring $1,000 to the table because Mrs. Boomstick and I are giving away 15 copies of that game, and we're doing a
Oh.
special launch party.
Well, just get
Obviously,
ready,
yeah,
okay? Just be
I'm gonna be
prepared at
ready.
the show.
We got the money in the bank. We'll have to pull from the house fund. It's fine. We've done that before. Let's see.
Oh,
Pragmatic
man.
Eagle makes a really great point. He says this after dropping a very generous $5 super chat. I say this often because people act like they forget. Sony said pre PlayStation 5 launch that they were getting fewer games this gen. This should not be surprising. Indeed,
They also said they believe in generations.
they
What
also said
PlayStation
that.
says, nobody takes serious anymore. Come on, man.
Yeah, no, no,
These are clowns out in these
it's
streets,
true.
bro. PlayStation
Gamer
is like,
by
wow.
Choice drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, I would always caution on saying never because things can always change, but I do not see it happening anytime soon with current leadership in place. Yeah, that I absolutely agree. We have Silent Type 1 drops an additional $5 super chat and says, Nintendo, just get a Switch. PlayStation, just get a PS5. Xbox, Phil, Sarah, and Matt needs to dignify this rumor or else I'm leaving. Me laughing. It's your waving. I
Like, what
absolutely
the fuck? Yeah, it's like, what are you guys talking about? Like,
okay. So
bye. Bye, Felicia. Get out of here.
this is where Everborn Saga comes in. He drops not one but $2 super chats. The first one he says TTSC money. So there you go.
Always, baby.
And of course, the second one says this multi-plat rumor is a port begging psyops.
Facts.
Holy cow, I
100%
love it. I
facts,
love
bro.
it. Okay,
100% facts.
so we got two other super chats and a channel member message. So we're gonna read those and then we're gonna get everyone out of here. 750 people here. Hopefully, you're finding the channel for the first time and you're like, wow, this Boomstick and C Money guy. You got to subscribe to both of our channels. He's on the hunt for 13K. We're on the hunt for
12,
15K.
12,
12.
12.
Okay.
Almost
I
12.
advanced you 1,000. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you skipped me 1,000. I would love to skip 1,000, but no, we're almost at 12, man.
They're almost at 12, which obviously is a big deal. Obviously, Mrs. Boom and I are almost at 15. We'd love to get your support by subbing both of our channels. We'll get you all that information in a hot second. We have BT Maverick 707 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says Sony simping for Xbox games because simping ain't easy. Sony is offering zero first. Sony is offering zero first party sad dad simulators in 24. No wonder why they're port begging. We also have Sir Riffalots. So Riffs a lot. Thank you so much for being here, brother. And he drops a very generous $5 super chat and says Game Pass is Sega's vision in the 90s. Game Pass is the Sega channel of this generation. Makes sense for Sega and Xbox to work together. Hashtag Xbox rules. Indeed, they do. And our very good friend, Bold Alpha Wolfpack, generous friend of the channel, has been a channel member for 3 months. He says this. Here's my thought. Why not let PlayStation and especially Nintendo fund Matt Booty's war on PlayStation? Xbox has too many games. the sales would cripple PlayStation first party. I just think that they're going to suffocate them already. I
Yeah,
really do.
they don't
It's
need
just
to do
they
the
don't, and
Salvation
that's the
Army
thing.
version of this.
Let's I put it to this way, folks. We're going to do an experiment here. Obviously, we're still in January. We're still in the first, the second week. Let's let things play out and come back to this conversation when the third quarter results are announced in March. And I think that particular day will be the definitive answer as to, and I'm staying strong with this. Microsoft and Xbox don't need PlayStation and they don't need Nintendo. Will they work with them at some point? Sure. Will Nintendo has a great relationship with Xbox. You're going to see some things there. But they don't need PlayStation. And the reason why they don't need PlayStation is exactly to the point of what C Money said. PlayStation gamers don't even freaking buy their own first party games. Hashtag facts. And you know how we know
Facts.
that? Jim Ryan, before he was fired, said in an
Not
interview,
enough,
you
baby.
PlayStation gamers are just not enough. And you know what? Shame on you. You bang these drums of being a console warrior, and you know what? When you go look at their trophies, they even played the game, and that's ridiculous. But listen, great show today. We are just at the 80-minute mark, which is kind of what we normally do. What we're going to do now, folks, is we're going to say a big thank you to all of the 700 plus people that were here. A big thank you to all of the super chats and channel memberships that continue to come in. And of course, we're going to sell C Money's brand because obviously On Point Gaming is a channel that you should be subscribed to. The dynamic duo known as C Money and Doodle is something that you should be watching and listening to. And of course, the title now has been moved over as the name plaque. I was, when you were talking, I was in the back down going with the screwdriver, and I took the plaque away from you, and I saw Doodle's picture, and I said, okay, here we go. Boop, 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 and Pony Smasher. So I don't know what we're gonna call
Facts.
you, but Pony
I'm the enforcer.
Smasher
All right. I enforce her smashing of the ponies. All right.
has been now given to Doodle, who's in the chat. Shout out to her. Brother, sell the brand. Let people know where they can check out your channel that you do, not only with your wife as one of your co-hosts, but sometimes, and a lot of times, you work with your kids, which is absolutely amazing. Sell us the brand of On Point Gaming, what shows you got going on, where they can subscribe, and more importantly, where they can reach out to you on social media.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, guys, thank you so much. Boom, I appreciate you having the show here. This was definitely a fun one. I love myself a spicy show. It's the best type. That's why all of our shows are spicy. But yes, man, thank you again so much. Obviously, I am C Money Forever on Twitter or X. If you can come, give a follow, that would be dope. I'm almost at 800 subscribers, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, definitely come check us out there. It's a fun time. Doodle to be free as well, my wife. If you want the spice, this is where it's at. So as far as our YouTube channel, yeah, we have a YouTube channel. It's called On Point for Gamers. I will go ahead and drop it in the chat now. But yeah, it's a show. We do 4 shows a week, actually. We have made a few changes. So like we start our week on Sundays. So Sunday's the start of our week, and that is for Morning Quest with Doodle and C Money. And that's really a show where it's very chat heavy. We have a great time, roasting ponies and doing all the fun stuff we like to do there. So definitely check us out on Sundays, 10 a.m. Eastern. We do on Tuesdays our show. It's our big guest show, interview show that we do. Is called Her, Him, and a Guest. And we have had some phenomenal people on there. Boom was our very first interview. So go back and check that out. That was an awesome one. But we've had some very, very awesome people. This past week we had New Legal, dope dude,
Nice.
really big Xbox head.
Yeah.
So definitely check that one out. And then this upcoming Tuesday, we have the other half of Everborn Saga Squad. We got our man Kea Sante,
Very
who's gonna be
nice.
coming in the building. It's gonna be a dope show. So definitely be there for that. And then on Wednesdays, we have our gaming podcast. It's called On Point, the Gaming Podcast. This particular week coming up, it's going to be Thursday because our twin girl's birthday is on Wednesday. So we're gonna spend the day with them, and we'll move the podcast to Thursday. But that's our big show. We do me, myself, Doodle, and our son, Madman, who just had his birthday, turned 17. So it's a dope time. Definitely check us out. And then we have a new show that we started on Fridays called The Night Shift. Let's Talk Gaming. And that is our it's our gaming show that we have guests on. So this past Friday was a dope ass show. We had Dirt Griggity and Black Viking on, which was fire. This Friday, upcoming right now, tomorrow, we actually have Mav from Fun Speculation and the Elite Gaming Guru from the Gamer
Nice.
Initiative podcast. It's gonna be a dope show. So definitely come check that out. It's on Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely come check that out. But yeah, man, we appreciate you guys. Like Boom said, we're on our hunt to 12,000 subscribers. We have started making videos as well, actually. So
Nice.
we call them mini episodes. So because it's Doodle and myself just taking on one subject or whatever it is, and we make a video of it and put it out. So look out for those as well. But thanks, man. Appreciate you guys. Awesome week. Great show.
Well, yeah, I appreciate you being a part of this show each and every week. Obviously, love working with you. And again, the yin and yang, I think, works very well. And we have fun.
Especially when my yang taints your yin. You know what I'm saying?
Pause. Hold on a second. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for the support. We honestly, truly appreciate it. We do put a lot of love into this community. And I'm not just talking about Double Barrel Gaming. Of course, I'm talking about Doodle and, of course, C Money. They go out of their way to make content fun and engaging, and we do appreciate every sub. Not just, we need to have 1,000 or 10,000 or 20,000 to appreciate it. We appreciate every single one sub, because one sub builds an empire, and that's what we're trying to do. And obviously, we've gotten tremendous support from this community. Of course, I will say once again, thank you for all the super chats. They are going to do big things for the channel this year. We have already confirmed that we are giving away 15 copies of Stalker 2, both on either platform. All you got to do to win is be in the chat. When we do the special show, the announcement show, or the reveal show, or the actual launch show, just be in the chat. You got 1 of 15 chances. The hashtag that we already have is under lock and key. We'll throw it into the chat. You throw it in there, you're automatically registered. If you win, even if you're outside of the country, we're going to get you the code one way or another. We're one of the few channels that actually represent the entire planet. So if you, like I said, the event that we had in December, where we gave away $1,500 in 2 hours, more than half of the winners were outside of the United States. And what did we do? We sent the money, just like we said we would. And like I said, we pay a little bit more, but listen, if you support the channel, regardless of where you are in the world, well, we're going to try and support you as well. And of course, we have already committed to matching next year's, this year's Christmas with Mr. and Mrs. Boomstick in December. We're going to at least match the $1,500. We're going to try and go a little higher, but we got to see how the finances play out throughout the year. And of course, folks, I'm going to close out today's show with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully, one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. To live by those rules, Craig, I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of X Vlog Live.